Hello everyone. So today I am going to start implementing this vehicle replication in a multiplayer game. So as you can see here, I can jump into this vehicle in this multiplayer enabled game and drive around the world, and I can exit also. So other characters also can get in this vehicle and use it. So and exit. So it replicates from all client to client, server to client, and client to server alike. Alright, so let's see how to implement this. And this episode is sponsored by these generous patrons. Thank you very much for the support you guys are giving me. Right, so first let's add vehicles, this demo vehicle available with Unreal Engine to these projects like this, and add to project. And now we have the vehicle VP. If I put it into the project, the vehicle is available. You can see it here. But how can we enable the player to ride that vehicle? First, let me open this object. And let me add a collider. Near the door, left door, where the driver enters. Right, now I have placed the sedan here, and if I play the game, well, there is no difference. Car is here, nothing happens, everything is as usual. So now yeah, I added this collider. And let's go to, by default it is set to overlap all dynamics. I'll set to overlap, I'll keep it like that, and go to on component begin overlap event. Here when another actor overlaps with the car, we need a way to check. No, let's get a reference to, first let's add a to once node, and then so we need to make sure that the overlapping actor is a player character, but since there are no any other objects where as for the moment it doesn't matter. Then what I will do it, I'll possess, no, let's get player controller and possess this car as the endpoint. I'll give self, self. Right, now it is automatically possessed by the server. Why is that happening? does this overlap generate an overlap event with the self? Okay, to make sure that this collider is not overlapping with itself, with this car itself, I'll set it like this, away from the car. Now let's play. Yeah, looks like that was the issue. Now if I go near the door, right, now the car is possessed and I can move around the level with the car, and as you can see, the other actors, the car is properly already replicating to other instances. Let's try to possess this by another character and see if that still happens. Oh, it doesn't work because the possession happens in the server. Okay. Alright, we need to find a way to make it possessed by the client. So yeah, instead of getting whatever the player controller, we should get the controller of this overlapped actor. So I think it should allow us to let this car controlled by that particular actor. So, but this is an actor, that's the issue. Do we have any interfaces here? Yeah, BPIMP character. Let's add a function, get controller, and as the return type, I'll give player controller. Okay, and let's implement that interface function. Sorry, I don't think we can use the get controller name because it is it contradicts with the built-in function. So get controller. Oh, I think we need to change this to, instead of player controller, just controller. Oh, controller object reference, controller object reference. Alright, it is working. Okay, now instead of taking the player controller, let's get controller reference, and if it is valid, if the controller reference is valid, let's possess it with that controller. Now let's see. Yeah, now it is working, and it is, yeah, replicating to client and server to server and server to client. But we need to do something about that previous character. He keeps walking and we don't have any errors also. Okay, right, and now let's make this a little bit advanced. Instead of just when we go here, instead of automatically enter into the vehicle, only when I press E, the character should enter the vehicle, and the existing character model should be put somewhere else, because when we exit from the vehicle, it should we should possess it back. So how can we handle it? First, let's take care of the interactive part. Here, let's implement. Now, in the first person MP character, we only have BP character interface, right? Let's implement a function set interactable, and as a reference I'll give actor reference and actor. Wait, should this be actor or pawn? Yeah, actor would do. Interactable, right? Now I'll create another blueprint interface, interact BPI interactable objects. Here I'll add a function called start interaction, like this, and in the first person character I'll implement the interaction where here set interactable. Let me promote this to a variable interactable actor. Right, now I'll add another input, as interact. As the key, I'll use keyboard E. Okay, then interact. Where is the input action? Okay, here. When I press interact, if I have a valid interactable object, I will call start interaction on that object. I'll collapse this part to a node interactions. Right, then in the 𝐒𝐮, let's implement PPI interactable object interface. Start interaction. So here I think we need a pawn reference because we need to know which character we are interacting with. Okay, should it be a character? Yeah, I think it should be a character, interacting character. Okay. Let's promote this to a variable. I'll call it tribal. And then here I'll do this part. Now I don't need the now here on the other actor I'll set interactable object like this, and as the interactable object I'll set self, which is a reference to this car. Okay, now if everything is working correctly, I should be able to get on the car, possess the car when I go near the car and press C. Let's see. It didn't work. Let's check. Right. Sorry, as this for the start interaction, interacting character, as the target we should give this interactable actor, and as the interacting character we should give a reference to self. Right, now let's check. Where is the car? Over there. Not working. Let's see if it works for the server. Yeah, it is working for server, but not clients. Why is that? Let me try again with this client. No. Right. So the reason, what's the reason? One more thing, we don't need these two ones now. This, and as the character leaves that box, we should unset this set interactable. on the other actor. That means we should give a null reference. Okay, so why it is not working for clients? Let's see if this function get executed. Let's add a print here and print the interacting character's name. Let's first try with the client. For the client, that function is not executing. Let's try with the server. Yeah, for server it is working. Okay, so what's the case? I guess this there is a replication issue in this start interaction function. Let's see if this function is being called by adding a print here. I'll print the interaction actor's name. Let's try first for this client. Oh, it does execute the function, however nothing happens there. Yeah, just like in other cases, let's create another custom event to ensure this is enter vehicle. And let's call enter vehicle function from this interface event. Let's connect the driver as well, and here I'll set it to run on server. Not working. Let's check for the server. Right, for the server it is still working. Alright, let's add another event. Let's rename this enter vehicle server. This one enter vehicle multicast, and in here let me break this. As the multicast enter vehicle, I'll use this function, and in the enter vehicle server I'll just call enter vehicle multicast, just like we did for shooting. And here as authority switch. We can use the as authority switch if it has the also has authority. Just like for shooting, we can use multicast fire if it has the authority. Otherwise, we can use the server function. The vehicle multicast. Otherwise, enter vehicle server. Oh, yeah, I forgot to connect this. And also we need to connect interacting actor in here as well. Sorry, I need to set this to multicast. Now let's test. Still not working. Let's check for the server. For server it is working. So still the issue remains. The issue is this start interaction function is not being executed when we call it from client. So what's the case here? Let's add another print. In here, just a hello. Yeah, hello is being called. Then why the next step is not called? I have connected both driver okay. So if we can't make it work that way, what can we do? Yeah, let's try something like this. For interaction, let's create a custom event, interact server, right? Server interact, and this should run on server. And another function, another custom event, multicast interact. This should be multicasted. Now if we have now all we have to do is call this start interaction part on the multicast, and it should be called like this, and if it is the server we should simply call multicast interact. Don't need to call this. Okay, and then let me delete this. If we have a valid reference, let's do a switch authority. If we have the authority, let's call multicast interact. Otherwise server interact. Now let's check. Run to the car by a client. Right, it worked. Great. And just to make sure that server is still working, let's run to the car from server, and it works for the server as well. Great. Now do we really need all these things that we have set up for interaction? I'm not sure. Let's put these things aside for a moment and connect them this way. If that works, we can get rid of that extra code. Yeah, it is working. Great. So that means we don't need any of these stuff we tried earlier. Enter vehicle multicast and enter vehicle server. We don't need that. Great. So now we need a way to exit the vehicle. But before that, when the driver enters the vehicle, player enters the vehicle, we need to hide the previous character body of the player. How can we do that? Right, actually previously I forgot about one thing, which is I forgot to set this interactable actor variable to be replicated. Maybe that's why it didn't work in the first try. In the first try I tried to make it work, but now that we have already implemented a workaround for it, so yeah, that should be fine. Okay, now the next challenge is we need to hide the driver when we get control of the vehicle, and also we should be able to exit the vehicle as well and run around as usual. But since this episode has taken 32 minutes, I will stop it here and I will cover that part in the next episode. Right, so thanks for watching. So if you would like to support my work, you can get the membership of the Patreon club. Link could be in the description below, and project files will be available for the download here in the Patreon page. And see you in another episode. Goodbye.